aren't we just in it to win it? And when I mean we, I mean the US job market, because it is getting ugly, nasty, and competition is going through the roof. So somebody that works with job seekers to help them get jobs has been on the forefront of it. So I've seen it all. I've seen from people that don't know the difference between a cover letter and a resume is, and from people that sent a resume that is all redacted because they think they've been working on top secret government Boeing stuff and say, I can't share any of it. So in this video, we're going to go over so much stuff. So I need your full attention on this one because this one's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. So let's look at it. First of all, Southwest will lay off about 15% of the workforce. So what makes Southwest Southwest? That's not going to happen. So they're going to be just like any other carrier, right? It is going to be brutal. Here we go. Defense Department layoff expected to start soon. Officials are saying that. Health agencies lose staff members in key area as Trump firing sets in, right? And so we're seeing so much news like this. Here we go. Kansas City IRS workers brace for mass layoffs. Unions fear 1,000 workers will be cut. So if you're working for a union, don't think for a second that you're safe. Don't think that you're safe just because you have the union's back. And when there's no money circling, you're going to be in trouble. So if you're a teacher and your district's not doing good, you're going to be in trouble. Even if you're tenured, teachers can get laid off too if there's no money. Happened in LA. If you're a teacher and you got tenured and you can't do it because your school district doesn't have no money, and they're going to cut their headcount because there's money going around, you got to do that. If there's no money in the federal government, you're going to get cut. If there's no money in the state government, you're going to get cut, right? So what do? You got to be actively participating in sending out resumes, sending out stuff. So you really, really got to be active, and you got to know what you're doing, because I've been getting emails and saying, "Oh, I'd love to work with you, but I can't afford whatever you've been doing," and because they didn't want to pay the $49 a month price. And to that I say, that is a whole bunch of nonsense. Why? Because you can get Ali's AI tool for $9 a month, and you can cancel at any time, right? So I have the prices right here. It can be $9 a month or $19 a month. And so what is that? That is basically the tool that we use and give our job seekers to make sure that your cover letter, your resume fits the description and fits everything else. And now you're like, but what about GPT? And I got you covered on that one too. So I made a test and I've showed these people that aren't believers, and I talk to them all the time and say, if you upload a resume to GPT, and this one is, I'm obviously also paying for the premium GPT model so I can make comparison and everything else, right? So when I upload a standard resume from Canva and I tell it, hey, just improve it, it would basically just come up with some nonsense about, contact info and whatnot, and rewrite it a little bit, right? And now you say, well, I can actually do way better. I can do a lot more things in it, and you got to give it more context and whatnot. No, you don't. You just need to use the right tool. And so if you upload this one to the Ali AI and says, hey, make this resume better, all of a sudden it starts saying profile section, work experience, education, and it will basically start spinning out facts. And when you see on this version, it didn't have it, but on the one that you're going to get it actually relates into a video. So if you have a question about it, and it will have a bullet point next to it and say, hey, here's the video that this results into. And now, why is this so important? So why am I talking about this? Because I don't really tell people to buy services from me or do anything, right? Because I feel like, hey, if you're on YouTube and you're giving out value, it should be at no cost, because you might make money from YouTube. And I try to not ruin people that tune in because they're like, oh, he's just trying to sell something. No, but this video is for these people that got laid off. And I'm telling you, it is hard. My calendar has never been fuller, from people that haven't job searched in a long time to people that just been doing it and they just can't succeed. I had a call yesterday with a person that's been laid off for a year now. And the opportunity cost that happens when you get laid off, right? Every month costs you money. And when you're a product owner and you're unemployed for a year, that's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars a month, right? So where's that money going to come from? Because most of the time, and I see this across the board, is Americans, they make more, they increase their lifestyle. They make more, they increase their lifestyle. So your lifestyle is up here, and you say, oh, I make $10,000, $15,000 a month, or I make $5,000 a month. So your lifestyle is at that $5,000 a month. Your lifestyle isn't this where you're like at this $2,000 level where you're just like, I'm coasting, I'm good, I can just kind of live this out. No. If you get a raise, what do? You go to the BMW dealership and say, I want that X5, I want that BMW, or I want this Mercedes. And so people do that and they're like, oh, I make more, so I just spend more. And this is where it gets tricky, right? Because all of a sudden you're in a spot where, well, might be laid off, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I gotta be looking into getting a job. And all of a sudden, where you had that $5,000 a month expenses, and all of a sudden you gotta front that out of your pocket. And I tell you one thing, and I've been there, so I know it. It is way harder to save $5,000 than to actually like spend it, right? So when you have $8,000 coming in and you have $5,000 worth of expenses, and $3,000 goes into a savings account, those thousands of dollars that you're saving are going to be depleted really, really quickly. And every time that balance goes down, you're going to be losing money, and you're going to get more anxiety. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is you built this lifestyle, you have a nice house, you have a nice car, and all of a sudden everything's at jeopardy because you leverage yourself too much, right? So that's why I say, get the AI tool, join a group, hire a career coach. It doesn't have to be me, but don't say to me or to anybody, oh, I can't afford services. Everybody that's a service provider has different price ranges for everything, right? So I also have a free group that you can join on School that helps people like that. And it's not free. So don't get me wrong when I say it's a free group. You've got to put the time and effort into it. It's going to cost you time, effort, and you got to investigate and look at, hey, what are the classroom section? What are my best practices and all that kind of other stuff. So free doesn't exist, right? So even in this park, you pay property taxes, you pay all this other taxes. So in order for you to succeed, if it doesn't cost you money, it's going to cost you effort. And most of the time it's going to cost you effort and money, because you can go to a service provider that will apply for you. And I've seen this on Reddit. I've seen these places that say, hey, I'm going to job search for you, but it's going to come at a price tag, and the price tag isn't going to be cheap. So if you want somebody to job search for you on your behalf, it's going to be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 depending on the skill level, right? And that is very, very expensive. So don't come at me and say your prices aren't affordable if you can actually get it for $9 and you can basically get your resume past the ATS and get people hired with it. Because I have proof right here. You can ask people that joined my community and joined the accelerator program that, hey, this is actually legit, right? And yeah, so this video is all about all these people, because when I'm looking at all these calls that I have, it's all these people that are struggling, that are trying to get into the job search, that are trying to do like, hey, I'm gonna go on career transitioning, and it's even harder. Yeah, because now you're competing with so many more people. And I always say, it's not worth you spending thousands of dollars on a career coach. I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is find where you can get, hey, I get some resources, I can get something for a few $100, and you're off to the races, and you do some research yourself. But there's also these people that want more hand-holding and say, you know what, I need more help. And then you kind of go and say, hey, maybe I'll join Ali's program. It's $49 a month. It's going to be $99 tomorrow, because there's just so many resources. It's so packed with everything. It's just like, hey, I got to make it something so people that will actually participate, and the more they pay, the more engaged they are, right? So yeah, this is what it's come to. All these people, tens of thousands of people. You've already seen real estate prices come down, and now we're seeing then there's going to be flight attendants let go. There's going to be a whole kind of like avalanche coming after it, where there's going to be repercussions to it, right? So you will see small restaurants aren't going to be that profitable because people aren't going out. You see all kinds of other industries are going to impact it with these layoffs, right? So if you're in Washington, D.C., and you saw that on my other video, that it's going to be brutal. It's going to be absolutely brutal for these businesses, these service providers. If you had a cleaning company and you were doing house cleaning and now all of a sudden your major clientele's gone, you're going to have to cut prices. You're going to have to cut prices to stay afloat. You got to hustle harder. You got to do way more things. And people are always like, oh, what about me? What about me? And that's just the mentality that we're in, right? It's like, I got to save my own life raft. And then you kind of sell your house, you move out, you move to Kansas, you move somewhere else because you've just been let go. So it is absolutely brutal what is going on in the job market. And I'm telling you, in order for you to stay sane and for you to actually like stay on top of it, you should join like a LinkedIn group. You should start networking. And I've been telling you guys this for 2 years now. You got to get your LinkedIn profile updated. You got to get something, and you got to do it the right way. And for these people that tell me, I've been networking and it hasn't worked out for me, you've done it wrong. You've absolutely done it wrong. And people say then, oh, but I've been doing this and this. It's like, yeah, you can also use a sledgehammer to loosen a screw, right? And it's just not the right tool for it, but you can use it. And there's probably some success in it. You'll just break out the whole wall, right? But hey, you just got to do it in the right way. And the right way is, hold it, wait. The right way is you provide value first. There you go. That's the $1 million secret. And all these people that say, oh, I've been doing that, or I'm camera shy. It's time to get out of your cocoon, start providing some value, connect with me on LinkedIn, and start having conversations with people. You don't even need to write a post. You can just contribute to somebody. Go on Allie's page, ask her to connect and say, hey, she posts career content, and just start liking. It doesn't cost you anything. Just start liking and getting in the habit of, hey, let me like it, let me comment, let me do something. And all of a sudden, you're engaging, you're participating, and then you're gonna provide value. And then, hey, let's have a network chat, let's have a coffee chat. And there you go. Once you're starting to do that, you get into the habit of it, and you're okay with talking to strangers over Zoom or in person and just saying, hey, this is what I want to do, this is how it's gonna go, and hey, what do you do? When you're starting to connect people, you're gonna be better off, right? And I know a lot of you guys are fearful, they don't want to do it. They hide behind user 6943900 or dog walker 16. Yeah, that's nice, but put your face behind it and say, you know what, I'm proud of this. Write an article, say, hey, this is what happened to me, this is how I saved the company money, this is what I did. So then during the interview you can say, hey, I wrote a post about this. Yeah, oh, cool. And you can do it in a positive way, right? And it is just absolutely crazy when you think about how this all happened with the layoffs, with what's going on in the job market, with people that are losing their livelihood and are just racking up their credit cards, right? Because if they've been living off of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and all of a sudden they have to go on unemployment, and unemployment is just a few $100s a week, you can't keep going like that. And now the catch-22 is, those are the people that went out and bought over asking price cars. They went and got a Yukon Denali to spend $10,000, $15,000 more because they had it back then. They bought Kia Palisade, $60,000+ over asking price. And now they're hurting and saying, oh, I over gambled. I've overjudged. I've overspent, and now I'm gonna be, suffering the consequences of it. And so I always say, you gotta be careful. You gotta be your own financial advocate. You gotta spend the money where it actually helps you. You gotta spend money on ways that will make you more money, that will, hey, that's a good rate on return, or that can save me money. So let's say you want to apply. Spending $9 on a resume AI checker or on a resume software is probably a good idea. So you can then say, hey, this has saved me time, and I will check my resume for spelling mistakes. Doesn't even have to be my tool. You can just go out there and just check the resume with another AI tool. But spend it on something, right? Just make sure that, hey, when I'm doing it right. Because if you're gonna do the whole thing wrong, it's a waste of time. You might as well just play video games, go on walks, or do something else. But if you do it right, it's really worth your time, right? Because then you can get a job, you can make more money, you can do all these things, and you can go out to dinner. And I'm telling you, right now, if you watch this video, once the recession and everything has come in and it's in full force, you will see that there's going to be huge opportunities coming in the job market, in the investment markets, right? And everywhere, in every industry, it's going to be huge opportunity. But that's going to require you to be financially secure during this time, because people that have nice cars and people that have investments that are going to turn into liabilities will have to get rid of them, or the bank makes you get rid of them. So what happens? Hey, you can buy them cheap and you can pick them up for 50% off, 60% off, who knows, 40% off. But hey, you know it because you're probably in that industry and you can say, hey, somebody needs to get rid of it real quick. And so all of a sudden you can make a deal because you're the one that has the money. And this is going to be the same with the housing market. The house is always only worth what somebody's willing to pay for. And if you're the only one with cash and say, hey, I'm going to buy this, whatever it is, you're selling it for $10, and you say, hey, I got 6. Do you want to take 6 today or do you want to wait? I'll take 6. And then you move on. And they needed to get out of it. And so you're good. Just always make sure that it's legit, right? Or not stolen. But besides that, let me know what you think. This was some wisdom that I've been dealing with. I've been so busy with these job seekers, helping them out. Got jobs. People just got a job today. So yeah, that's why I haven't been making too many videos. I'm trying to do better. And now I got my team all rolled in. I got everything dialed in. So you'll see me more in front of the camera again. And I will see you in the next one. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.